A Better Route Chapter 69, NOICE. Team Uchiha had set up base in a small hotel room in the nicer area of the hidden swamp and began to discuss how to get some information from the villagers. Obito knew that the first thing they had to do was think the situation through. Itachi asked, first off, how did the Akatsuki get them so scared without giving themselves away? They're a secret organization after all. Obito had already figured that part out. Sometimes, all it takes is a few simple actions to have an entire town afraid of you. Say you were snooping around a town trying to get information on something and you didn't want to be bothered. The first person who gets suspicious and tries to confront you mysteriously disappears. If they find his body a few days later, but have no proof it was you who killed him, then they can't do anything about it. No one's gonna confront you again because they know what will happen. That's why Jiraiya was able to get some information, but not much. While there are some rumors floating around about mysterious men in black cloaks, no one actually knows who or what they are, and there's no one brave enough to actually try and find out. Itachi nodded. So you think something like that happened around here? Obito was already thinking about that next part, here or at least somewhere near here. If that's the case, there's only one way to get them talking. You know what that is, don't you, Sasuke? Sasuke hated when they did this. Ever since they'd started on this trip, Obito and Itachi had been trying to get him think deeper about everything. They said he rushed into things too quickly and needed to learn how to think things through. He started to try and figure out what Obito was talking about. Well, if they're scared of them because they think they're gonna kill them if they talk, we've gotta make them think that we're strong enough to stop the guys from the Akatsuki. Obito nodded. Exactly. Now how do you propose we do that? Sasuke groaned and started to think it through again. We can't prove it by fighting them, so we've gotta find some other way to prove we're strong. The only problem we have that is we don't have time to wait for something as major as that. I guess we could stage a fake fight, but that seems like an awful risky move. If they find out, then they'll never trust us. I really don't know. Obito had to admit this was a hard one. Fair enough, it's actually pretty simple if you take a step back from it. There's one thing we've got that you've overlooked, my reputation. Any time someone hears the word Kage, they immediately know that person must be powerful. If there's anyone here who knows much about the ninja world, I'm going to guess they'll know who I am. I'm still Hokage, I'm just on a leave of absence. Not to be cocky, but I think I'm our trump card on this one. Itachi had to fight back a laugh. As much as I'd like to make a joke here, I think you're right. Should we get moving? Obito was ready to get going. All right, let's move. Obito could see that the town was now a little weary of them after Itachi's questions about the Akatsuki, but he was pretty sure he could change that. He tried to look for signs of someone who would know about shinobi. He noticed a small child playing ninja with his friends with toy kunai and fake cloud headbands. Bingo. Obito walked over to them and said hello. Hey there. You wanna grow up to be ninjas? They all nodded. Yeah, I wanna join the hidden cloud one day. Obito chuckled. That's good, I'm actually a hidden leaf ninja myself. My name's Obito Uchiha. A couple of them knew who he was and got excited. Wait, you're the Hokage of the hidden leaf, aren't you? Obito was actually kind of enjoying this. He wasn't really a celebrity in the hidden leaf anymore. That's me, alright. You know, we actually just signed a peace treaty with the hidden cloud? Before long one of the adults was coming over. You're a Kage, huh? Why don't you prove it? Show us your best attack. Obito rolled his eyes. Almost every move I have would rip this village to shreds. I've got something I think can prove it though. He pulled something special out of his coat. It was some kind of scroll. This is an official scroll from Raikage that we signed to allow me to trail through the lighting country. I'm sure you guys have enough trade scroll from him that you can identify his signature, and I'll sign anything you have to prove that's my signature. They had to admit that it seemed everything checked out. All right then, what are you doing way out here? Obito sighed, I'm looking for my son. He's gone missing and the people who came through here in the cloaks might know where he is. I swear that if you give me this information that no harm will come to you or your village. All of them were skeptical, but as he really was Kage then he'd probably be able to protect them. Besides, these guys seemed too suspicious to just let run unchecked. They came through here 2 days ago and the psycho one with the scythe killed one of our lawmen. They were asking around about a girl that likes to come through here every once in a while. I think her name was Yujito. We knew a few places that she liked to go, but that was about it. Obito knew that name immediately. This isn't good. I think we're gonna be going to the hidden cloud earlier than we thought. Itachi and Sasuke thought that sounded like a good idea. Yujito was one of the cloud's Jinchurikis after all. If the Akatsuki was after her, then they needed to know where she was at. Looks like they were about to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The Raikage was screaming, what the hell do you mean the Akatsuki are coming after Yujito? Obito could understand his anger, that's what it looks like based on the information we got. We'll of course help you in any way we can, all we request is that no matter what happens you keep one of them alive so that we can question them about Kakashi. The Raikage didn't really care about that. Yeah, that's fine. I believe I know where she was supposed to be going. Our best move here would be to head to her current location and to make sure that we don't let them get to her. Obito agreed, alright then, where is she? The Raikage pulled out a map and pointed to location that was 20 miles from the hidden cloud. She likes to go to the hot springs here to unwind before she comes home. I'll send an assistant to go and get B, you guys head to her. He's at Turtle Island for now, so I doubt he'll get there in less than half an hour but I want him there. If these 2 really are S-rank then I don't want to take any chances. Obito didn't think the Raikage would, but he still had to ask, you'll be leaving the other Jinchurikis at Turtle Island right? Smacked his forehead, well yeah, I'm not gonna send them straight to the very people who are trying to kill them. You want me to leave the boy here as well? Sasuke knew the Raikage was talking about him, you can't just leave me here. Obito shook his head, yes we can. Itachi coming with us is one thing, but you're not as experienced as he is. Sorry Sasuke. Sasuke didn't want to stay but knew this wasn't up for debate. He would bite his tongue for now, but he'd be strong enough to help next time. The Raikage stood up and cracked his knuckles, I haven't had a good fight in ages, so this should be fun. Obito had to admit, he was itching for a good fight himself. There weren't many ninjas who could give him a run for his money anymore, but the Akatsuki might actually be able to do it. Not to mention if they really did know where Kakashi was then he need to find out. He was more than ready for this. The 2 Kages and Itachi rushed quickly into the forest attempting to get to the hot springs before the Akatsuki members could. They had no idea if the Akatsuki even knew where Yujito was right now, but they weren't about to wait to find out. They'd been traveling for around 15 minutes when they heard some kind of explosion off in the distance. Some of the trees started to burn with a blue flame and the Raikage was getting nervous, it looks like Yujito's already fighting them. This isn't good. They traveled the last few miles as quickly as they could and found Yujito out cold with 2 men in Akatsuki cloaks standing over her. One was wearing a mask so you couldn't see much of his face and the other had gray hair and a scythe on his back. The one with gray hair asked, man that bitch fighter, think maybe we could sacrifice her too. The one with the mask glared at him, we can't extract a tailed beast from her if she's dead. You can get some sacrifices for that freaking little god of yours later. The gray-haired one yelled back, hey, Jashin is the reason I'm immortal Kakuzu. The one in the mask sighed, Haiden, you're immortal because you went through a chakra-tainting ritual you crazy little man. Called out to them, step away from the girl and come with us or we will capture and kill you. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping for the latter so I can kick the shit out of you first. Kakuzu, who knew of all of the major ninjas and how much they're worth, recognized the two. Well, looks like we've got a couple of Kages and one of the last Uchiha on our hands hidden. I'll take the Raikage, you handle the Uchihas. Haiden raised an eyebrow, not that I don't want to victims, but how come you me to face them? Kakuzu really hated having to explain everything to him, because Uchiha over here is known for being extremely hard to hit, so our only shot against him is to hope you can get a lucky shot in. Haiden smiled, yeah, guess I'm just better than you for this aren't I Kakuzu? Kakuzu got a dark look in his eyes, just for that I'm gonna rip your ass to shreds when this is all done. The Raikage got into a fighting stance, you keep talking like you're gonna win. Kakuzu got ready to fight as well, don't underestimate me now Raikage. I'm not to be trifled with. Oh and Zetsu. The Kages and Itachi watched as a strange creature in some kind of Venus flytrap rose out of the ground, yes? Kakuzu motioned to Yujito, make sure she gets back to the base safely. Zetsu grabbed her and started to sink into the ground, it'd be my pleasure. The Raikage tried to jump to stop him. With his speed he ran past Kakuzu very quickly, oh no you don't. He was stopped when he felt something grab his ankle. It was strange considering he'd already passed Kakuzu. Kakuzu's hand had extended off of his body with some kind of strange wire and threw him away from Zetsu. Zetsu disappeared into the ground and the Raikage mumbled, big mistake asshole.